I have spent a lot of time and way too much money building myself the perfect gaming and content studio. And I get asked all the time for ideas and inspiration to help other people do the same thing for their setup. Aside from all the basic essentials like PCs, consoles, monitors, and all the other tech that you need, there are so many other cool gadgets and bits of gear you can pick up to make your gaming setup look and feel more epic than ever before. So in today's video, I'm going to go through a bunch of items that you can pick up for your gaming setup, ranging from budget items to much more extravagant ones. And of course, everything I mentioned in today's video will be linked down in the description below as well, or next to the video if you're watching on YouTube's weird new layout. So let's dive in. Before we start the list, I just want to mention that this video is in no way sponsored or has any ties to brands whose products feature on the list. These are just a handful of products that I use in my setups and that I think are very cool. Some of them may have been sent out to me in the past, but I've ended up loving them and keeping them in my setup permanently. And nothing on this list is essential to your setup, this is all just for fun. And of course, let me know in the comments which of the items I mentioned today is your favorite. So starting us off then is this incredibly cool framed game display from a company called Frame a Game. I came across these guys last year and thought it was such a cool idea. This is basically a way to display your favorite video games in your setup and showcase a bit of your gaming personality and history. Whether you want the nostalgia of displaying the first game you ever played or one of your all-time favorites, it's a really simple yet effective idea to add to your gaming setup. As you can see here, I've gone for the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which was one of my favorite games when I was a teenager. I sank too many hours into this game, so I wanted a way to incorporate that into my gaming setup. There are a whole range of different styles that you can pick up from the website. You can choose from various different game choices on the site, or if you want to make it cheaper, you can even supply your own game, different ways to display them, or even displays that have multiple games. They've also recently started doing these controller display frames too, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm very tempted to pick one of these up myself. Prices on these depend on which version you get, but can range from around £40 up to the more expensive ones at over £100. But for me, the option to customize and tailor this to how you personally want it is a great feature. Next up, and sticking with cool ways to display things, check out this really nice controller stand that I'm using in my second setup. This is from a company called Geekmade Designs, and they are these lovely, sleek and premium looking wooden stands that are perfect for displaying your controllers. Whether you're using the standard controllers that come with your console, or you've picked up a special edition one like this Spider-Man PS5 controller that I have, or this Starfield Xbox controller, these stands are a great way to show them off and add that extra bit of flourish to your setup. This particular one I'm using is the show-off model for the PS5 controller and comes in around £58. But there are various different styles and materials to choose from, and the thing I love about these is the premium quality and the fact that each one is handcrafted, so you know a lot of work has gone into it. You can also pick up versions which incorporate consoles and headset stands in as well, and they even make these PlayStation icons, which I have been wanting to pick up for my setup for a while. Definitely another very cool and stylish addition to your gaming setup, and one of my favorite recent discoveries. Now, this next one is probably one of the most unnecessary items in my whole studio, but also one of the most satisfying. And it's this button right here. To the untrained eye, this might just look like a switch to turn on your PC, which, no, that's actually just what it is. I have mentioned this in previous budget setup tips videos as a cheap and simple way to add a cool bit of flair to your setup. And I get so many comments from people asking me what the point is, and all I say to those comments is, because it's cool. I could turn on my PC the conventional way using the button on the case, or I can have this convenient and cool switch on my desk and turn the PC on whilst being nowhere near it. Plus, you can also replace the keycap with any that you fancy, so if you're like me and you have a bunch of artisan keycaps sitting around not doing much, you can use one of them to make the PC switch even cooler. This particular switch cost me £25 on Amazon, but if you want, you can also get cheaper versions on places like AliExpress for as little as £10, but I can't speak for the quality of those versions. As long as it doesn't melt your PC, I think you'll be alright. Next on the list is another incredibly simple yet effective addition, and it's this framed poster in my racing sim. If you saw my recent sim upgrade video, big love to you, and you'll have already seen this, but as you can see, it's a super effective way of both filling up the empty wall space and adding some character to the room. The reason I decided to include it on this list is, aside from what I've already mentioned, people tend to go looking for framed pictures and are sometimes limited by what they can find. So what I actually did here was buy the poster and the frame completely separate so that I could choose any poster design that I could find and then simply get a frame that fits it. It seems obvious, but it doesn't cross a lot of people's minds. All in all, I paid £55 for this, as the poster was from an Etsy store, so ended up being a little bit more expensive for this design. But you can definitely get cheaper posters out there that match your personality, and the frame just makes them look a little bit more clean and premium looking than just a poster on its own. I didn't say they were all going to be groundbreaking ideas, but they sure still spice up your room. Moving back onto the topic of gaming, if you're like me, you love kitting your room out with cool decorations. Things like Funko Pops are a cheap and easy way to do that, but they are actually not on this list. Instead, I'm talking about epic mini statues like this one I have on my drawer unit. This one is actually from the Spider-Man 2 Collector's Edition PS5 box set, and it looks absolutely fantastic. These kind of statues are so well made and amazingly crafted, and they just ooze premium quality. Now, you can get a lot of collector's edition games with statues like these, but they often set you back hundreds of pounds, so it can be quite expensive to do. Fortunately, you can also buy standalone statues and figures that tend to cost much less. You can pick them up typically between around £50 to £150 depending on the quality, but again, they do an amazing job of looking absolutely epic in your setup. If I had it my way, I'd have an entire display shelf of these things, but apparently I have to be more responsible with my money. That being said, Assassin's Creed Shadows in November, anyone? Now, where are all the fans of retro gaming and nostalgia? This next gadget will be absolutely perfect for you. This is a fully functioning mini retro arcade machine, and I mean, just look at how cool it is. As you can see, this particular one is Ms. Pac-Man, and aside from perfectly fitting the nostalgic retro aesthetic vibes, it is a fully functional Ms. Pac-Man game, and it even has this cute little joystick control for maximum memories. This one costs £40 and is a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a full arcade machine. And if Ms. Pac-Man isn't your vibe, there are also various other classic game machines that you can pick up instead to fill your fix of cute retro gaming.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice.
Even though these game releases were a little before my time, I loved playing arcade games like this when I was younger, and this is such a cool way of bringing that into my setup without having to find the space for a huge machine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to beat that freaking high score. If retro gaming tech is your vibe, then how about these deconstructed tech wall art pieces? These are from a company called Grid Studio, and they specialize in taking all kinds of tech from retro games controllers, phones, and more, painstakingly taking all the pieces apart and displaying them beautifully within these frames that you can have in your setup. As you can see, I have multiple in my room, including the Game Boy Advance, which was my first ever gaming device as a child, so the nostalgia runs deep. Then I also have this PS1 controller and the more updated PS4 controller too. I do also have a couple of old iPhone frames knocking around somewhere as well. To me, these are not only a really unique way of displaying some of the most revolutionary pieces of gaming gear and tech from the past, but it is also so cool seeing all of the internal parts on show in such an arty way. Typically, most of these frames cost around £100 to £150 on the website, although there are a few more expensive ones too. They fit the setup so well, and I absolutely love the way they look. Definitely a must-have for any tech and gaming fans out there. So there we are, these are just a few of my top picks if you're looking to really spice up your gaming room and make all your friends jealous. I'm always on the lookout for more cool things to add to my setup, so if you guys have any more gear that you think I should take a look at, let me know in the comments. And I'm also thinking about turning this into a new series on the channel, including videos on cool budget gear or more outlandish and over-the-top stuff, or even gear for specific aesthetics. What do you guys think? If you'd like to see more of this, then drop your thoughts in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful, don't forget to drop a like, as it really helps in pushing this content out. And make sure to subscribe for plenty more content. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video. See you later.